Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And I know there are people excited about this broadcast at the moment with what's been going on. But first of all, let's just have a quick look at the weather. As you can see, the weather today is just absolutely glorious. Can I thank Amanda Gregory for her very succinct weather forecast? She said, morning, Ginge, Saturday's weather, sunny and nice, high of 24 degrees and will feel like 28. And it certainly is looking absolutely glorious from here on the balcony. Just to let you know, arrivals today, Jane is going to be doing her first duty at the airport today. She's kind of back to work in a way at the moment. There's going to be 2 Dutch flights in today. And there's also going to be a first flight from the French in this morning as well. So that we've got a flight in from Paris. That's coming a little bit later. And I think there's also a shuttle flight in as well from Athens at some point. I'm just going to quickly go back to yesterday's news because I know a lot of people have been in touch. I've also had some good sources doing a bit of rooting around for me as well. I'd also like to thank Jerry Coyle as well for sending me some information as well. But I got word last night from a very, very reliable source. They said to me that they were informed by people at the airport yesterday that only 38 passengers actually arrived on the Liverpool flight. And apparently all of those people on board were workers and residents of the island and not the tourists that they'd also hoped for. Also yesterday... should I say very early this morning, can I just thank Jerry Coyle for passing a little bit of a screenshot to me. In fact, I'm going to show you the screenshot. He passed this to me this morning, and it's a summary from the Foreign and Commonwealth and Development Office advising travel. And this is an update that they put online yesterday, 21st of May. Latest information on travel between regional units, travel within Greece between regional units at permitted subject to adherence to public health measures, blah, blah, blah. But basically what they're saying is this: the Foreign and Commonwealth and Development Office advises against all but essential travel to Greece, except for the islands of Rhodes, Kos, Zakynthos, Corfu and Crete, based on the current assessment of COVID-19 risks. So, advises against all but necessary travel. So lying on a beach, is that necessary travel? It's going to be interesting to see. We've got another flight in next Wednesday from the UK. Now, the story at the moment, that flight is almost full. So it's going to be interesting to see if that flight will be workers, people from the island, residents, etc., that will be coming over on a full flight. So again, no clearer. It's all so blurry and vague. I also do have a story regarding that later, which I will come to. So again, can I just say thank you to all those people that have been in touch as well with basically more information. I know this is getting very frustrating for everybody at the moment as to what's going on. We are still waiting here for basically Zakynthos or Greece to go into the green, and we just really are just waiting like greyhounds in a trap to be sprung open to basically be able to organise and do things that we want to do. I think in some ways people would say if we're not going to be allowed, people are not going to allowed to become, tell us now, because then we can reorganise ourselves with plan B, which is dealing with the people that we're already going to get rather than waiting for the people that might turn up. But anyway, I'm going to crack on now because again, I'm going to just give you the COVID in the last 24 hours here in Greece, which to be honest is a bit mixed. There were 2,020 new infections recorded yesterday. That is up from the 1,918 from the day before. There were 3 new cases identified at checks into the country. That is down from 4 on the day before. Now, according to the national stats, there was 1 new case in Macardo. There were no new cases in Kefalonia. There were 19 cases in Corfu, and there were no cases recorded on the national stats for Zakynthos. And there's been nothing in the local press to confirm that there has been any more infections here. Right, when it comes to deaths at the moment, I'm afraid deaths are up just slightly. Last time I reported to you, 54 new deaths. Well, at the moment, that number has risen slightly to 56 new deaths, bringing the total death rate since the start of the pandemic to 11,697. Once again, 96% of those people had underlying health conditions or were over the age of 70. When it comes to the ICUs, those numbers are down. So that's a good point. We reported last time 626 people. Now that number has dropped down to 617 people in critical cases in hospitals. What they don't say is how many people actually survived in hospital to be moved out of those critical cases. That is something about the figures what I've been on about since the beginning of the pandemic. However, it now stands at 378 male and 239 female. Remembering that the ceiling figure for beds to cope with the pandemic was set at 900 across Greece. Right, now today's news then, again, it's going back to this umming and ahhing about what's happening about Britain going onto the green. Now, this is a report that was put into the Greek press, and this is a Greek reporter story that appeared yesterday evening, and it said this: the UK is most likely going to keep Greece and its islands on its mandatory quarantine upon return list, and even following the first review of the regulations, which will take place on June the 7th. Now, Great Britain's green list currently includes only 12 destinations for which a lengthy quarantine is not mandatory for travellers when they return to the UK. Unfortunately, Greece and its islands have been placed on the amber list despite hopes that the islands would be considered separately from the mainland for green status. Even following a highly ambitious and successful vaccination campaign on islands to make them coronavirus safe havens, the UK continues to see them as not distinct from the mainland. According to recent reports, this is unlikely to change when the UK government revisits the list on June the 7th. Furthermore, the UK quarantine list came with the warning that ministers expect even amber list countries to be treated as not viable options for vacations. It is very, very clear you should not be going to an amber list country except for some extreme circumstances, such as a serious illness of a family member. Boris Johnson said this during the Prime Minister's question time on May the 19th. You should not be going to an amber list country on holiday, he also reiterated. Both the BA officials and those from Heathrow urged the UK government to add Greece, Spain, the United States, the Caribbean and also France onto its list of green lit countries before the summer comes. Unfortunately, it seems as though these petitions have failed to make the government reconsider, with the UK likely to leave Greece and its islands on the quarantine list well into June. So at the moment, even the Greek press here are not looking hopeful that Greece is going to come out of the amber list in the UK and is go on to green, which basically effectively means no quarantine for anybody returning from a holiday here. So at the moment, everything is up in the air until a review is made. Now, they're talking about this review being June the 7th now. Again, all we can do is wait and see. That's all we can do. People I know are having holidays cancelled, bookings changed, and there is a kind of an exhaustion that's creeping in at the moment from people that I know would be here within 24 hours if it was made clear that they can come. They don't have to go home and do quarantine or spend more money on more tests to try and shorten the quarantine. So at the moment, again, our fate is in Boris's hands. We're just going to wait and see what transpires. And of course, I will bring you the news as soon as I get it. Now, interestingly, then, the appointment programme for COVID vaccinations here in Greece for the 40 to 44-year-old age group. Now, that opened yesterday on Friday with those being able to apply to choose between having the 4 available vaccines. So you could have the Pfizer, the AstraZeneca, the Moderna, and also the Johnson & Johnson vaccine if you wished. However, the Greek government has imposed a 16-day delay penalty on those who ask to change appointments more than twice. As they say, this is hampering the smooth flow of the vaccination programme. Anyway, the age group of 35 to 39 and 30 to 35 will follow on from the 40 to 44 age group, with those aged 18 to 29 eligible for vaccinations in mid-June. So anyway, there you go. You can't accuse Greece of not trying to do more vaccinations if it's vaccination numbers that they want to change their mind about putting us from the amber into the green. Anyway, interestingly, I saw another thing which refers to me as somebody who hasn't had the vaccination yet. But there is a debate going on about here in Greece on compulsory vaccination for health workers. Now, this has been deferred, believe it or not, until September, as Greek government officials clarified Thursday that now is not the time for such decisions to be made in this phase of the fight against the coronavirus. Besides, they also noted the vaccination programme is moving at much speed, and that by July, around 60% of the Greek population should be inoculated. Now, the Panhellenic Medical Association president, Athanos Esgarados, told the Kalamira newspaper that even though medical workers are not obliged, there is data at this stage that renders vaccination necessary. He says, better persuasion than enforcement, said Giadardis Koris. He's an epidemiology professor of pediatrics at Athens University. He added that it must be understood by medical teams that if they are not vaccinated, they and their patients are at risk. Besides, there is already a law in our country that allows the health minister to order mandatory vaccination at times of great epidemic outbreaks. It just hasn't been activated yet. And that's what he said about that. So again, that is up in the air. And again, as Jane said this morning, well, if more people are being vaccinated, then that means there's less chance for people like myself who have decided at the moment not to be vaccinated to be able to not feel that they are at any risk or they are going to be a risk to other people. So again, there's this blurring of lines about this mandatory vaccination where they're wanting us to get mandatorily vaccinated. Why? Because they probably spent all this money on vaccine and they don't want to see it going to waste, and they wanted to give it out for the sake of giving it out, when in fact, well, why not send some of it to India, all right, if you're that worried about it. But at the moment, still waiting to see what the outcome is going to be of that. And it's interestingly now that debate about mandatory health workers mandatory being forced to have the vaccination, like they did with the firemen just a couple of days ago. Remember, firemen from the elite international rescue team, they have been told they must mandatorily vaccinate. If they don't mandatorily vaccinate, then they're off the team, basically, where they can be deployed all over to respond to disasters. So again, going to be interesting to see where that is going to lead. Anyway, talking about the Germans then, as we were a bit earlier, following the continuous increase of passengers in recent years and the strong promotion of European leisure destinations, it seems this summer Lufthansa is expanding its networks of flights to Greece. Lufthansa's Greek timetable has more than doubled with the addition of 7 brand new destinations. And this was announced on Friday that Attiko, Hania, Corfu, Calabria, also Kos, Mykonos and Zakynthos are going to be welcoming the German air carrier for the first time. Now, I know we've had flights before from Germany, but normally they are with the subsidiary company of Lufthansa, but not Lufthansa themselves. So again, we've got the Germans on the way. And the Germans, to be honest, for Zakynthos, Zakynthos are not one of our, well, they haven't really been a big demographic here on the island in years, but obviously more Germans are coming. Now, however, passengers from Greece will also be able to benefit from the numerous response to the company's global network through Frankfurt and Munich hubs. So basically what it means, you people here in Greece have the option now to go over and visit Germany if you wish. Tickets can be easily booked for any flight from travel agencies or online from Lufthansa.com. In addition, always respecting the current travel restrictions and the ongoing strict hygiene measures throughout the trip, Lufthansa prepares so that as soon as the conditions allow to offer easy and comfortable flights to popular resorts in Greece, they were going to be going ahead, because I think at the moment there's a bit of an issue with Greece with Germany at the moment. Anyway, Kostas Siopoulos, the general manager of Lufthansa Group Airlines in Greece, said the launch of the long-awaited 7 new destinations is doubly good news for Greece. He further said passengers from Greece get more of a response options, and in addition, the expanded flight schedule will support our tourism sector. So basically, we can go to Germany if we want. Anyway, another story for you, not related to COVID. However, it did catch my eye this morning. It's to do with the police again. A man was arrested on Thursday night on the island of Crete. And now he was found to be in possession of 42.5 kilos of explosive, which was said to be mainly dynamite, in his car. With him, the man who was arrested was a police officer serving in Erithmos. Now, the suspect, a chief constable. Now, when we say chief constable, we're not talking about top policeman who's running law and order, as we would do in the rank structure of the police, basically here, but it just means a senior constable. All right. Anyway, the chief constable allegedly did not declare his status to his colleague who was doing the test or doing the check of the man driving the car. He reportedly claimed that the car, which is registered in his wife's name, was lent to his brother-in-law, and he did not know about the explosives found in the boot. Shortly after the policeman's arrest, his brother-in-law appeared at the local police station and was arrested after taking responsibility. The chief constable's wife was also wanted for questioning. So there we go. They say it all happens here in Zakynthos. Well, it also looks like it's happening over there in Crete. And a big shout out to Sean Johnson this morning if you're tuning in. Just a little bit of a side information for you, just to remind you that stores can stay open this Sunday. You might remember that they brought that rule in on May the 14th, and the stores are going to be in effect, going to be open on Sunday. This decision applies to outlets selling essential goods such as supermarkets, all food stores, pharmacies, petrol stations, cleaners, pet shops, confectioners and tobacco products. They are going to be open. They're allowed to be open from 7 o'clock until 10:30 on a Sunday opening. It's up to them whether they want to open or not. They're not bound to have to do it. Also as well, Sunday opening also extends to hairdressers and beauty parlours, and their hours are from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. So there you go. You could do a bit of Sunday shopping for you. And finally, bit of interesting news, might be some good news. Can I thank everybody for yesterday's show? I've had quite a good reaction actually to people who quite enjoyed me playing all of the 13 Eurovision songs which are connected to Zakynthos in regards to this year's 2021 grand final. So countries like France got their tune played, Finland got their tune played because Dennis Magdalena's, his family is from Finland and we have Finnish tourists here. Sweden got played because of Maria over there, because we have Swedish tourists. England obviously got played because they're great people coming here. The Dutch got played. All 13 different nations got played. But I was interested in a story that came up this morning, was Peter Baston, has attended 8 out of the last 10 Eurovision Song Contests in person. And this year, coronavirus restrictions will prevent the Malmo resident from travelling to the host city of Rotterdam, but it doesn't mean he can't join in the celebrations. Bless him. Baston, who's in his 70s, told Reuters, "We've really missed it since Tel Aviv. So everybody doubly is excited this year that the contest can actually be held at all in any form." He says, "I've listened to the first semi-final the other evening through my computer with headphones on, and then I really got the feeling of being there because of the roar of the crowd. It felt like 30,000 instead of 3,500. So that's been verified now. The Eurovision fans stranded in their home countries due to the COVID-19 pandemic are reaching out to friends online communities to celebrate the event, which is known for its kitsch songs and its flamboyant costumes. Do you know what? It might have been known for that in the past, but I think somehow it seems to have changed gear a little bit, and it just seems to be, from the entries that I've seen for this year, it seems a little bit more kudos-y. And I think the Eurovision might be on the turn, actually. Anyway, the Netherlands is hosting the 65th edition after the Dutch singer Duncan Lawrence won it in 2019 in the competition in Tel Aviv, which was last year. The whole thing was cancelled because of the pandemic. Anyway, it said all 39 participating countries and their delegations are tested before entering the venue. Some 3,000 fans can attend through the Dutch trial scheme for the events during the pandemic. So what they're going to do is probably they're going to test them all for COVID before they go in, and they're going to test them all for COVID on the way out. And from that, they did that with the hotels, if you remember. That's how we got Dutch coming here on holiday, is they ran that scheme over in Rhodes to do that. Anyway, for the thousands of Eurovision fans abroad, attendance is nearly impossible this year, but that doesn't mean that the party has to stop. Swedish fan Helena Johnson, who's 54, said while dressed in her national colours, "It's not the same, but we can still feel it." Anyway, last year marked the first time that the contest, which draws a television audience of about 200 million, was cancelled since its inception in 1956. Now, it's going to be interesting, actually, when you look at how badly the Oscars was watched on television, how badly the Golden Globes was watched on television. It's going to be interesting to see how is Eurovision going to do as a television audience. Will there be a massive drop in viewing figures as there was with the Oscars and the Golden Globes, which has made people rethink about it? But at least you don't get stupid speeches from people who are winning about thanking their world and thanking everybody and rubbish. They just get on, sing it, get off. And we always wait with bated breath to see how the judges in each country are going to rate, shall we say, one of their beloved enemies or their neighbours that they're having a bit of an issue with, even though they're not allowed to sing political songs during the competition. Belarus got thrown out from one Eurovision Song Contest for having a very political song about one of their leaders. But anyway, we'll wait and say. Anyway, global fans saw their trips cancelled as borders closed, including the Australian Hayley Bezel. But despite lockdowns, the show must go on with some creative solutions. She says, "I'm actually flying down to Canberra on Saturday morning. I've got a very close friend who's a Eurovision fan as well, and we'll be doing a Sunday morning, 5 a.m. at our house." That's what she said. Anyway, she's actually Dutch, of Dutch heritage. Sure, I did the wrong accent there, but don't worry about that. So she said, "We've got a big Dutch spread of food ready, and we're both dressing up. Those unable to join the friends and family are welcome to the online community." Eurovision blogger William Lee Adams said, "It's almost like Eurovision has become an excuse to be more social, an excuse to come together." And who also puts together a remote concert to connect remote audiences with acts. So that's interesting. Anyway, Rotterdam has also reached out by launching the Swing Along Dance Challenge with selected participants getting their videos projected onto skyscrapers. So there you go. Check that out. Hashtag swing along going tonight. So once again, can I just say good luck to all those participating in the grand final tonight from Rotterdam. Trust me, tomorrow I will be looking at the scores on the doors to see how we did, see who voted for us. I've got to be honest, our song at the moment is rated with 3 stars. Greece is rated at 4 stars. Cyprus is rated at 4 stars. But the song that I kind of like for its quirkiness is the German entry, which is called I Want Peace or something. I can't remember the total name of it. But the German entry, the video is just funny and hysterical, and it shows the Germans have got a sense of humour. But anyway, I shall look forward tonight. Jane and I are going to be out tonight, going about into Kalamaki. I'm going to be going out to a few bars there that we haven't visited, that are open at the moment. And also, as well, we've obviously got to get back for the 12:30 curfew as well. Don't forget, that is still ongoing here in Zakynthos at the moment. So all we can do is see what next week brings as we move closer to Magdalena's reopening next Friday. Don't forget, 29th of May. We will wait and see what happens there. Whether this... Do you know what? I was really hoping that last night this music ban would be lifted so that people could enjoy the Eurovision. If you've got silent disco apparatus, I'd be running a Eurovision party if I had a bar with headphones on and people listening to the Eurovision on headphones in the bar. That's what I'd be doing if we're not allowed to have live music coming out, and obviously giving away shots and prizes for that. But that's just an idea. But anyway, we're going to wait and see how tonight progresses. I'm just going to have a quick look at everybody that's tuning in at the moment. Dave Matthews is watching. Nice to see. Thank you, Jerry Cole, for your information. Dave Matthews says, good morning from Northampton. Going to be swimming at 8. Weather is not as crap as yesterday. I'm pleased the weather's slightly better in Britain. Steve Hinkling is saying the same. Gallimera Ginge, highs of 11 here. Good news about Jane. Yes, good news indeed. She's at the airport today, sort of starting the first part of her job, and she's been meeting the Dutch. So we'll have the word from the Dutch. I'm going to ask her if how they feel about their Eurovision song. They probably won't give a toss, but it doesn't matter. It's good fun. Anyway, Julie Meldrum is watching as well. Steve Hinkling says, beach very necessary for my mental well-being. Oh, bless you, fella. I know how you feel. Rosewood is watching as well. Can I just say congratulations to Rosewood. Rosewood is now a grandma. Daughter Vicky had a little baby boy yesterday. So congratulations, and I hope both of them, or all 3 of them, or all 4 of you, are all doing well. All right, so take care. Anyway, Caroline Davis is watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in. Wendy Norcliffe is tuning in. Paul Bruff up there in the Peloponnese is tuning in. I hope life is lovely on your yacht at the moment. You're having a nice time. Alf Ling is watching as well. Alf says, morning, Ginge. Catherine Ling is watching. Dennis Patrick is watching. Dennis Patrick Carroll says, morning, Ginge. Sam Curtis is watching. Nice to have you looking in, Sam. And thank you yesterday for some of your music choices for the Dance Anthem show, which went out last night. And what a great show. Don't forget, that's being repeated today on beatsradio.co.uk. And I try to remember the time it goes out this afternoon. I think it goes out 5 o'clock your time. I think it goes out in the UK. I'll put something up online anyway. But again, you can watch to that show for a second time and enjoy that from last night. Anyway, Sam says, good morning, Ginge, from a beautiful, warm and sunny morning here in Brighton. BJ Neal is watching as well. Thank you, mate. He says, Gallimera, matey. Sam Curtis says, thank you so much for playing the Moby remix of Michael Jackson's Beat It yesterday in the Dance Anthems. Great show. Well done. Great track for that as well. I did layer it with a couple of other tracks, but I tell you what, wow. That was such an awesome version of it. It's to me, it's the highlight of the show, I think, in some respects. Fantastic. Anyway, Davey Walthamstone is watching as well. Kirsty-Ann Hunt is watching. Steve Hinkling says, enjoy your date night. Yes, we will do. We're going back to date nights because Jane's working again. So I used to enjoy those. Jerry Coyle says, you're a kept man now. Thank you very much, fella. It's back to me doing the housework again and sorting bits out while Jane's at work during the day. But Jane said that you'll be back cooking. You'll be back. Yes, I will be back. Anyway, and if I don't go back to work because music is banned, then obviously I'm going to be just a house husband, I think, for the rest of the thing while Janie's going out to work. There you go, which will be interesting. Anyway, Nick Roberts is watching as well. BJ Neil giving me thumbs up. Al Smith is watching. Right, that's it from me. I've got to now go and cook breakfast for Jane before she does her shift down at the airport today, meeting the Dutch arriving in. Once again, I'm going to keep my ear to the ground. Can I just say thank you to all those people who've been dropping me messages. Also, as well, thank you to those people who've been watching these broadcasts to decide whether their holiday looks like it's going to be viable for this year. I take that as a compliment, actually. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm just giving you the information as is what's been reported here in Greece through the perceptions of the Greek country. But also, I am also looking at other nations, their perception of what's happening in Greece, and that includes the UK, as to where we are on this road at the moment. Because at the moment, we so want the British over here. We know there's a lot of confusion, and everybody's confused, not even just yourself. Even the government, I think, in some ways is confused as well within themselves, but they're not going to admit it. Only the MPs have got a bit of balls and stand up and admit they're confused, will say we're confused. And all we've got to do is wait until Boris sort of makes his mind up and makes a decision. And that's it. All this wishy-washy traffic light systems and all the other crap that's going on is just leaving people bewildered, and at the end, wearing people down. So in the end, they say, sorry, I can't be asked anymore. I'll just stay home. But we don't want that because we need you here. But anyway, that's it from me for today. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Thank you again. And I'll catch you later. Ta-ra.